Currently 47 degrees here at Gillette. Feels colder than that because of the wind forecast calling for partly sunny skies the rest of the afternoon. Bill Belichick, 18th year as the head coach of the Pats. And they've owned the Miami Dolphins, certainly here at home. It's an 8-game winning streak for New England over Miami. Tom Brady is going to have the football first. Miami has won the toss. They've deferred to the second half. So not allowing New England to have that opportunity where they get the ball at the end of the second quarter and then they come back with the ball at the start of the third quarter. Adam Gase goes in a different direction.
It's so uncanny what the Patriots have been able to do over the years. It just seems like with Brady running this show, as he does so well in so many situations, their ability to score at the end of the first half and to start the second half is unmatched.
Miami's been outscored 134-50 in the first half this season. We're underway here in New England. The booming kickoff from Parkey. Dion Lewis doesn't get a chance to touch it. And the Patriots will have it at the 25-yard line. In Mexico, 33-8 win over the Oakland Raiders. Brady completed 81% of his passes.
And you know, he did miss practice on Wednesday with a sore Achilles, but he wants everyone to know his right Achilles is just fine. He has the utmost respect for the Dolphin front four, and getting the ball out quickly to his playmakers is a goal as always.
You asked him what's the concern with the Achilles. He said 0.0% concern.
Yep.
That's the quote.
That's pretty good.
Shotgun. Brady on first down. Brady over the middle and too low for Rob Gronkowski. It's incomplete. Brady completed his first 12 passes against the Raiders last week. Starting offense changes there because no David Andrews, no Marcus Cannon, Ted Karras, second consecutive start at center, and it is Adrian Waddle at right tackle once again. Consortium at running back, but Dion Lewis has emerged as more of the go-to guy, but they can mix it up. Karras in his second year out of Illinois, 6th-round draft pick last year. 2nd and 10, toss it to the outside. It's White, and the Dolphins are ready for it. They limit White to a 1-yard grab. He had no catches against the Raiders, and he leads the Patriots in receptions this season. Tackle made by Bobby McCain, extra defensive back. So it's 3rd and 9.
Patriots 43% converting third downs this season, and against the Dolphins, who are just stopping 39% defensively.
Patriots back-to-back wins by 25 points. They've outscored their last two opponents 74-24. Second in the NFL third down percentage. And Brady, is it incomplete is the question. Gronkowski went down to get it but could not bring it in cleanly. And New England goes 3 and out to open up.
Well, this is the second poor throw by Brady out of 3 throws. Low and away from Gronkowski. Clearly hits the turf. And very unusual to see Tom Brady go 3 and out ever, especially on the first drive.
Joe will get a punt from Ryan Allen, and we'll get a fake. Running down the sideline, and the Patriots do convert. It's Nate Ebner on special teams.
Well, they're 5 of 9 now converting third downs. Look at Ebner here. Gets a great block on the edge from Bolden, and that's all he needs to pick up the first down. 14-yard gain on that 4th down.
Ebner turns it upfield. Miami thought, all right, we're getting the football. We've done our job. And yet New England's drive continues, but injury on the play. It was Ebner working the outside, and Ebner is the player down.
He's a key special teamer, obviously. If he cannot go, that is a big hole for the Patriots special teams.
Former rugby standout Nate Ebner. He lost the football at the end of it.
Teron Werner and Thomas there with the double team.
Nate Ebner, who walked on at Ohio State and has been such a key performer on special teams for New England. Up the middle. It is Dion Lewis. They soften up that Miami defense. They take it up the gut for 13.
Well, it's a Old-fashioned blast play here. James Devlin leading the way on the linebacker, Chase Allen. And then after contact, watch Dion Lewis gain 4 more yards. Pulls away from Alonso and then lowers his shoulder here to pick up those 4 extra.
New England working quickly, play action. Brady in the pocket. Brady delivers. Wide open. Philip Dorsett. Caught down low. Rashad Jones helps save a touchdown, but the Patriots are in business. Chunk plays for New England.
Longest catch of the season for Dorsett, crossing route, and there's nobody home here. Bust in the secondary for the Dolphins, and a touchdown saving tackle there after a 39-yard gain by Jones.
And it's pick your poison. Dorsett has not been heavily involved. Tom Brady, when we spoke with him yesterday, said, yeah, it's coming along. Sets up a 1st and goal for New England. Motion man is Allen. Handoff, Lewis, spin move. And he's dumped short of the goal line by Devon Gottschall, the rookie from LSU. 5-yard pickup.
Now watch the spin move here and watch the ball here as Thomas trying to pull it out. But the strong right hand of Dion Lewis secures it.
So 2nd and goal for New England.
44.
Rex Burkhead is in.
44.
Motion man Hollister. Brady long count. Trying to punch it in with Burkhead. Burkhead looking to get to the goal line. He's in. Touchdown, New England. The Patriots on the board first. A fake punt keeps the drive going, and New England cashes in against Miami.
And it's almost like a flying wedge here. Look at all the blockers for the Patriots. Hollister, Devlin, they all lead from the backfield. And Burkhead lowers his shoulders and keeps his legs driving into the end zone on the top of the Patriot offensive line.
So on that opening drive alone, Josh McDaniels calls James White's number, Philip Dorsett, Rex Burkhead. You just don't know who it's going to be week in and week out. And for a defense, that's the challenge in trying to scout them.
And you don't expect a fake punt on the first series of plays, especially after your offense had looked very poor on their first 3 plays.
All scoring plays are reviewed, so they are checking it out. Right now, it's a 6-0 lead for New England. First touchdown of the season for Burkhead on the ground. He had 2 receiving.
You talked about the development of the relationship between Brady and Dorsett. This is what the officials are looking at. Watch the knees here. He appears to be well over the line before his knees hit the ground.
Burkhead kept those legs churning. And while there was a crowd there, momentum carried Burkhead into the end zone. So it's under review. Call on the field was a touchdown. They would need clear evidence to overturn it. I didn't see any evidence whatsoever.
It was hard to find Burkhead, period. The key here, though, is where's the ball, where's the knees? He gets help there by landing on the back of Nate's shoulder. That kept him up just long enough to get into the end zone.
There was a little extra lunge right at the end as he was falling down to the ground.
Now determination there for Rex Burkhead. That will be his first rushing touchdown as a Patriot.
Ryan Tannehill is here along the Miami sideline and going with the facial hair. It's a new look.
Nothing wrong with that.
No, it's got the Fouts stamp of approval.
Trim.
Following the review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. It's a touchdown.
Ron Torbert makes the announcement. Patriots fans get to celebrate a second time. And now the extra point from Gostkowski. Last week kicked a 62-yard field goal, a Patriots record, the 6th longest in NFL history. He had some help from the altitude. Allen will hold it. And the extra point is good. Patriots take a 7-0 lead. Burkett, 2-yard touchdown run for New England. Miami will get the football for the first time when we come back to Foxborough. 8 plays, 75 yards for New England. It took 3 minutes, 21 seconds. The fake punt, Nate Ebner took it for the first down, but Ebner, a knee injury. He is out for the rest of the day. Gostkowski kicks it off. Grant the deep man, and he'll take a knee.
Yeah, we talk about the Pats offense and defense, but the special teams have been stellar this year. Cassius Marsh with a blocked field goal there. This one is from Lawrence Guy as he just got a piece. The block by Rex Burkhead on the punt from Denver, and then today a key 4th down, 14-yard run for Ebner, but one that could prove costly for the Patriots.
Miami takes over 1st and 10 at its own 25-yard line. They've been outscored 142-65 during this 4-game losing streak. Moore in the pocket. Moore hits his man in stride on a crossing route to Devontae Parker, who's had some big games against New England in his young career, brought down by Stephon Gilmore. So it is Matt Moore once again. Miami is 8-8 in games that he has started during his career.
He told us yesterday's mentality today is play-by-play. Get some first downs. Time of possession's always key. Facing Brady in this offense of the Patriots, looking to get the ball in the end zone and not settling for field goals.
2nd and 5 for Miami. Moore zings it to the outside. Catch is made, Damian Williams, and he's slammed down immediately after the modest gain. Let's check out the Miami offense. Changes because of the injury to Jermon Bushrod. So Jesse Davis shifts over to right guard, and it will be Sam Young starting at right tackle. Backs and receivers, Jarvis Landry, 6 touchdowns through the air. And Kenny Stills coming off a big game as well for Miami. 30-20 loss to Tampa Bay. They tied the game at 20 in the 4th quarter. But Ryan Fitzpatrick led the Buccaneers to victory. 3rd and 2 now for the Dolphins. Moore floats it upstairs, too high, over the head of Williams. They love the versatility of their running backs, but they could not get it to Williams in a matchup with the corner, Butler.
Yeah, that's not a matchup that you want to take advantage of. Butler a corner on your running back out of the backfield. Good blitz that time by Landon Roberts. He was not picked up, and that forced that early throw.
Danny Amendola will return it. The Matt Hawk punt. Rookie out of Arizona State. New England, not a big rush. High punt. Amendola drifting back. And he's out of bounds. He caught it cleanly at the 11-yard line. Brady has already led the Patriots to a touchdown drive. He'll look to do it again when we return the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. AT&T. And by Kay Jewelers. Every kiss begins with Kay.
It's a quirky schedule for New England. Divisional games in 5 of their last 6 weeks of the season. They played just 1 so far. Lewis breaking through. Dion Lewis. So impressive. Dion Lewis has got that extra gear. He turns that into a 22-yard rip.
Watch Andre Branch come down, and over the top will go Lewis. Little high hurdle there, and then finding another hole down the field. Blocks from Dorsett and Gronkowski. We're seeing his entire repertoire here in the first quarter.
3 carries, 41 yards for Lewis. And a first down for New England. Little trickery. Fake it and set it up for Lewis. Lewis could not break away from Lawrence Timmons. Held to a 1-yard pickup through the air. Defensively for Miami, Cameron Wake was credited with a sack last week. So that's now 7 for Wake and 88.5 in his career. Linebackers, inexperience, Chase Allen, undrafted free agent out of Southern Illinois, getting the start in the middle, and young corners Howard and Tankersley. Neither has an interception this season. Second and 9 for New England. Line of scrimmages in the 35. 7-0 lead for the Patriots here in the opening quarter. Brady hangs in there and connects. Danny Amendola makes a move upfield. And Amendola picks up 15. Brady took a shot as he released the football.
Yeah, and Ndamukong Suh is going to give him this shot here. Brady hanging as long as possible, and he gets blasted by the 300-pounder as he goes right around Shaq Mason to get in on Brady. Man, that's a big hit.
Well, we asked Sue, how do you have success against Brady? He said, you got to hit him often, even if you don't get the sack. Burkhead gets the carry for 3 yards up the middle for New England. They're in Miami territory, hit by Alonso.
Yeah, Brady's going to take advantage of these young corners. Here's Tankersley, and here's the crossing route. Confusion here by Tankersley in man-to-man coverage. Lets him go. This ends up being a 39-yarder. And if it's not for Rashad Jones, might have been ended in a touchdown.
47.
Second and 7. Gronkowski sets up as a receiver. Motion man is Cooks. Brady. Nobody home in the direction of Dwayne Allen. NFL Today update. Let's head to New York. JB, Nate Burleson.
Nate, Eagles don't need an edge.
They sure don't when you got a quarterback like this. Wentz to Ertz. They get in for the 17-yard touchdown, the 26th TD of the season for the MVP candidate.
As you remember, Coach said sometimes a loss can help get that edge back. I don't know, Ian, they're doing it all right. Ian, Dan, and Evan.
Man, they are locked in right now, and Wentz having an MVP-type season. Brady would be mentioned in the conversation as well. 3rd and 7. Brady steps up, avoids it. Brady on the move. It's complete to Gronkowski. Bangs his way to the 26-yard line. It's a first down.
Yeah, it's called pocket awareness. 18 years of being in the pocket, and he'll find Gronkowski working against a smaller defensive back, Bobby McCain. But watch Brady just looking around, not looking at the defenders coming after him, but his receivers down the field. Nobody does it better.
5 completions to 5 different receivers for Brady. We'll hit the 7-minute mark of this first quarter. First down for New England. Fake it. Brady on time. Gronkowski hit down low by Michael Thomas, but the Patriots are moving it down the field with ease. That's a 20-yard hookup.
Well, they're running the ball effectively, so the play action's going to work as well. And the quick release by Brady, and again, a wide-open receiver in the secondary for the Patriots. Nice ball fake there to Lewis. Head around, eyes down the field. Another strike on the way.
First and goal for New England. Lewis in the backfield. Patriots trying to build on their lead. Brady on a give. Lewis tries to cut it. And Miami builds a wall. 1.5-yard gain for Dion Lewis. Vincent Taylor, the young defensive lineman, in on that stop. Matt Burke, first year as the defensive coordinator for Miami, was the linebacker coach. And a big challenge today trying to deal with the number 2 offense in the NFL, number 4 in scoring at 29 points per game. Second and goal for the Patriots. Burkhead returns. Brady from the gun. Throws it. Complete for a touchdown. The hands of Rob Gronkowski.
Working against Rashad Jones, man-to-man. That's what Brady found out when he put Burkhead in motion and brought him back. Man-to-man across the board. The power of Gronkowski overpowering Rashad Jones. And then maybe the difference maker for Brady and Gronkowski are the hands. Ball thrown out in front, grabbing it as he's falling across the goal line. Another touchdown for Gronk.
That's a number 6 for Gronkowski this season. Brady is 7 out of 10. High fives all around that New England sideline. And Gronkowski the extra point. The Patriots are shredding the Dolphins here in the first. 5:33 to go. On the ground and through the air. And on special teams as well, it's 14-0 New England over Miami. Rob Gronkowski has now moved in the top 10 all-time for tight ends in receiving yards. Patriots cap off that 9-play, 88-yard drive with a 5-yard touchdown. Brady to Gronk. Kickoff from Gostkowski. And Grant will return it. Grant cut down as he crossed the 25-yard line. That's where Miami will have it. Brady is 7 out of 10 to open things up with 103 yards and the touch.
They've been effective running the ball right at the Dolphin defense. So when you play action, you're faking the same type of action straight ahead that freezes the defensive line, neutralizes the pass rush, and Brady can find his receivers wide open, it appears, in its first quarter.
If you're Miami, you've run 3 plays on offense. You look up at the scoreboard, said it's 14-0, and it doesn't even feel like they've had a chance.
Well, there's 5.5 minutes to go in the first quarter, so you do have a lot of time to work your way back into it.
Moore swings it. Catch made by Williams. Good cut by Williams to avoid a tackle. And Williams gets around Harris with a flag thrown late. So Williams picks up the first down, but penalty marker at the 38.
Yeah, another penalty. This one will be against Jarvis Landry for a block in the back, negating a heck of an effort by Damian Williams.
Illegal block in the back by the offense, number 14. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Replay first down.
Yeah, here's the block in the back. Watch number 14 there on Jones. That negated a fine 12-yard play by Williams.
17 penalties last week, 1 shy of a team record. They are number 2 in the NFL in penalties this season behind just Seattle. So 1st and 13 now for Miami. Back it up to the 23-yard line. Moore working out of the gun, stepping in for Jay Cutler, concussion protocol. Cutler is on the sideline for Miami. Williams. Nice move by Williams as he carries across the 30 for 8 yards. Brought down by Kyle Van Noy and David Harris on the play. Williams will head to the Miami sideline, and Kenyon Drake will step in for him. We talked to Adam Gase about the offense. He said, I went back to some of my old Mike Martz stuff just to get it rolling. Feels good about where they're headed offensively. Likes the fact that the running backs are multi-dimensional. Teams have to respect their dual abilities. He feels like they're getting more chunk plays than they had previously. Drake has stood up and then slammed down. And he lost the football! Coming out of the pack, Trey Flowers, but it's ruled on the ground. Play whistle dead. No gain.
Great job by Flowers putting his left hand on the ball, stripping it, then recovering it.
Was that ball out?
Well, his forward progress stopped, and I think that's the decision by the officials.
So the whistle stops play there. Take a listen.
And you did hear a whistle, and I think that's a proper call.
So it brings up 3rd and 5 for Miami. Under 4 minutes to go now in the first. New England with a 14-0 lead. Dolphins in an early hole. Rush gunning. Moore steps up. Avoids it. Moore, can he get to the first down marker? He can. He's got the angle, and they'll move the chains. 7-yard scramble for the veteran Matt Moore.
Well, Trey Flowers is putting the pressure on Moore initially. Watch number 98 here, working against Ted Larson. It goes right around Larson, but check out the wheels here for Matt Moore as he beats Dietrich Wise to the sideline in the first down. Obviously a huge play for this Dolphin offense.
Hey, let's go, hey!
11th year in the NFL for Matt Moore, formerly with Carolina. But he's been part of this Miami organization now for 7 years. Give it to Williams. Trying to turn the corner, and Jones wouldn't let him. Jonathan Jones out on the perimeter, and Williams could not get the proper angle. No gain on the play. Thursday, NFC East showdown. Washington and Dallas look to stay alive in the playoff hunt. Thursday Night Football, NFL Network, NBC, and streaming live on Amazon Prime Video. 2nd and 10, ball spotted just short of the 37-yard line for Miami. 2:45 left in the first. Dolphins come in 30th in the NFL in total offense. Play action. Moore. He's got his man. It's caught by Landry across the 45. Very close, but not quite enough for a first down. Brought down by Jones.
Patriots are going with 3 down linemen, 3 linebackers, and 5 defensive backs. Kind of a departure from their normal 4-2-5 alignment.
Jay Cutler was 6 of 12 for 83 yards, a touchdown, and 3 interceptions in one half of football last week before exiting with a concussion. 3rd and 1, trying to slam it in there, and the Patriots were up for the challenge. What do you do now as Van Noy makes the play?
It looked like Kenyon Drake slipped as he was about to get to the line of scrimmage.
You needed a yard? He didn't get a yard.
He's going to run right into the back of one of his offensive linemen.
Yep. He slammed into a rather large human being, Jesse Davis, 6'6", 321. Huge play with 1:28 to go in the first. 4th and 1 for Miami. Give it to Williams, and he's got it. The acceleration for Williams picks up the first down for the Dolphins.
Well, it looked like Trevor Riley had a shot at him in the backfield. But Williams showing good power. That's just their 3rd conversion out of 14 tries on 4th down this season. There's the missed tackle by Riley in the backfield.
Riley, former member of the Miami Dolphins. He's made a tour of the AFC East with the Jets as well. We're down to 45 seconds to go. First quarter, bootleg. Moore looking downfield. Moore will zigzag out of bounds out near midfield, chased by Kyle Van Noy on the play. He had a man open downfield.
Yeah, it looked like the tight end Julius Thomas was open on the crossing route, but it's always dangerous to be running full speed to the right and then try to throw back across your body down the field. The angles change for the defense and sometimes results in interceptions.
Adam Gase, who worked for Josh McDaniels when McDaniels was the head coach of the Denver Broncos, so there is a long-term relationship for those two. Hand off to Drake. In New England territory, it's a 3-yard pickup for Drake with Brown and Guy there defensively, and time will expire in this opening quarter. End of 1 from Gillette. The Patriots with a 14-0 lead over Miami. We'll come back to Foxborough after this. You're watching the NFL on CBS.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Dodge. Domestic, not domesticated. And by Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance.
Dan, I don't know if you've ever gotten your Gronk on.
Not lately.
The Gronkowski family owns 2 party buses they bring to most home games, and they often donate the experience of being able to tailgate with the Gronks to various charities. Right now it's a 14-0 lead for New England. We start this second quarter with Miami in Patriot territory on a 3rd and 5. Moore from the gun. Moore slings it upstairs, knocked away. They tried to get it to Kenny Stills, but Malcolm Butler was there. And Miami is forced to punt.
Yeah, Moore had difficulty handling the snap. And I think that took his progression away from him because he has to focus now on catching the ball, securing it. And when his eyes come back, he's just looking for a port in the storm here. Great coverage by Butler, getting his head around before the ball gets there.
So it's Matt Hawk with Danny Amendola, the return man at the 9-yard line for New England. And over end, Amendola brings it in. Amendola got stamped just before the 20-yard line. 36-yard punt, an 8-yard return. It was Thomas on special teams for Miami with the stick.
Now this is why you got a couple of party buses. Tom Brady, no effects of that huge hit as he hits Gronkowski with this one wide open over the middle after buying time in the pocket. This one gets him down inside the 5-yard line, and then the touchdown play. 3 catches now for Gronkowski from Brady for 46 yards and that score.
You know, it's not just that New England has dominated Miami at home with 8 straight wins. It's the way they've done it, averaging 32 points per game in those victories. Brady on time to Brandon Cooks. It's a clean catch along the sideline. During that stretch, the Dolphins have averaged 13.6 points per game.
Look at the adjustment to this low throw by Cooks. Perfect catch. Hands underneath. He rolls over, controls the pass. And a big play on first down for 13.
Might have seen Cooks on the NFL Today, NFL Extra Points. He talked about how he watched Brady from afar for all those years, and now getting to play with him is just incredible. A jump. Fade tried to get a step with Waddle over there on the offensive end.
False start. Offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty. It's first down.
And it's the first penalty against New England, and it's Waddle. Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, a long time on that sideline for this Dolphins defense to try and figure out adjustments they need to make. And that's something they told us coming into this game, knowing New England, that it's going to be back and forth. In previous games, they've been unable to take it to the field. This is a big possession in that regard for this group.
Remember, they thought they had him stopped. It was over on the first possession, and then the Patriots successfully execute a fake punt. Hand it off to Cooks. Cuts it to the outside, and Cooks turns the corner. Brandon Cooks, he's got track speed. It's a 12-yard pickup for Cooks working the perimeter.
Well, this is the jet sweep that Cooks ran so effectively while at Oregon State. But watch this move here on Rashad Johnson. Total freezing there. And I think Raftery would say that Jones lost some lingerie there.
He did. We saw it, Bill, yesterday. He was in town calling college basketball.
Bad snap.
Rolling around, Brady trying to get to it. Oh, it's scooped up by Jones. Stays on his feet for the touchdown. Rashad Jones, a hustle play to track it down and remain upright.
Well, remember, Ted Karras is only making his second start at center for the Patriots, and he snaps this ball before Brady is ready. It's going to go right by Tom's right side, and now it's a free-for-all. Brady can't get to it. Tremendous balance by Rashad Jones here. Just, first of all, to pick it up and then to maintain his balance and score.
Dante Scarnecchia, offensive line coach, having a long conversation with Ted Karras. Injured Dolphin is Terrence Fede. Fede, a 7th-round draft pick from Marist. And the athletic training staff out to check on Fede. Now, frustration for New England. Those are things that don't normally happen, but no David Andrews, missing his 2nd straight game, and Ted Karras was not on the same page with Brady. Terrence Fede got up and walked over to the Miami sideline. Fede collided with Brady trying to track down that loose ball. Brady was not looking, and the Dolphins get the touchdown. It happened in the Iron Bowl yesterday to Alabama. Actually happened twice. Parkey, the extra point. And the Dolphins are on the board, 14-7. New England in front. Early stages, 2nd quarter. We'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Lowe's. Fewest turnovers in the NFL this season. The New England Patriots, just the 6th of the year for Bill Belichick's squad. Miami came in -9 in turnover differential.
Yeah, one of those statistical, I guess, anomalies maybe. Brady will get the blame, if you will, for that bad snap by Karras. So it'll go down as a fumble by Brady. But you know, I'm sure that Dante Scarnecchia is telling him, among other things, there's no noise here. There shouldn't be a problem with the cadence.
Dion Lewis returns it, and he's tossed down at the 22-yard line. Interesting that you protect the quarterback stats, Dan. You're very concerned about who gets that fumble.
Well, for Tom now, that's 112 on his career. 6 more than I have.
Oh, now we understand why your interest in the Tom Brady fumble.
And not one of them was my fault. Like, that wasn't Tom's fault.
No, not his fault at all.
Jeez.
13-13 mark of the second quarter. Patriots lead at 14-7 over Miami, but the Dolphins get a shot in the arm with a defensive touchdown. And the Pats have it 1st and 10 at their own 22-yard line. Gronkowski, the motion man. Brady out of the gun. Brady underneath to Cooks. And goes down just short of the 30-yard line as we send it down to the field. Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, just 2 things on Tom Brady. His left arm, right at that elbow, he took that pretty big shot from Fade. He's got a pretty nice gash there. No bandage on it right now. The other thing, he came up to his O-line and Karras in general and said, guys, move on, boys, right before his possession.
Going quickly here. Brady took a shot in the pocket, releases it out of bounds. Cameron Wake put the heat on Brady.
Yeah, Cameron Wake just walked Adrian Waddle right back to Brady, shoves him to the side, and then hits Tom right in the midsection. So Tom has had a couple of big hits, one from Sue, this one from Wake, and then on that fumble, bad snap by Karras.
Well, he asked Brady for the scouting report on the Miami D. Said, well, they're young at corner, they're experienced at linebacker, their strength is in the front. A lot of playmakers on the defensive line. Also give credit to Jones, who had the touchdown. Incomplete. White with a flag thrown. Alteron Werner, an extra defensive back, now shrugging his shoulders as Torbert heads over to make the call.
Before the pass was thrown, holding defensive right cornerback. It's a 5-yard penalty and an automatic first down.
Well, Werner appeared to be this outside cornerback working against James White. Pretty good grab on the back of the jersey there, but Dolphins feel when the Patriots empty the backfield as they did that time that their front 4 can put pressure on Tom Brady. Seen it a couple of times so far in this first half.
Rex Burkhead now in there. They give it to him. Burkhead slowed down and then gang tackled short of the 40-yard line. 4-yard pickup. Jordan Phillips in on that stop for Miami. So they'll rotate. Burkhead remains in there. Devlin is going to set up as a receiver, the fullback. Shotgun for Brady. 2nd and 6. Brady sensed it. Brady could not complete it to Brandon Cooks, but a penalty marker thrown at the 39-yard line on Miami's end of the field.
I think we're going to get another holding call in the secondary against the Dolphins. Penalties continue against Miami.
Defense, number 59. 5-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
Yeah, that's the rookie Chase Allen, and that's penalty number 3 against Miami.
Yeah, and it's also another first down for the Patriots. And that's the speed of Cooks getting away that time from Howard. And Howard had to grab him.
1st and 10 at the 44. 12-15 to play first half. 7-point lead for New England. Burkhead trying to squeeze through, and he's dropped after the 3-yard gain. Charles Harris makes the tackle for Miami. Patriots have gone 17 straight seasons without a losing record. That's the 2nd longest streak in NFL history behind Dallas. They went 21 straight years between 1965 and 1985 without a losing record. Pats come in at 8-2, riding a 6-game winning streak. 2nd and 7. Dorsett had the big catch in the first quarter. Fake it. Brady forced to get rid of it. Sliding grab, and Cooks is blasted as he made the catch, but quickly touched by Tankersley. Loss of 2. The hit from Harris to Brady. So there's Dallas, 21 straight years. New England tied with Cleveland going back to the 50s for the Browns when they went 17 straight years with at least a 500 record.
Yeah, you had to really look twice. At saw Browns on there, didn't you? Look at the fine print, folks.
It's been a while. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
3rd and 9 for New England. Flags down. Miami pointing at New England.
Five-yard penalty. It's third down.
Now basically everybody moves, so take your pick and back it up for the Pats. Patriots come in one of 5 teams with an active winning streak of 5 or more. New Orleans has won 8 straight. Philly's won 8 straight. Minnesota 7 wins in a row. Pittsburgh has won 5 in a row. Patriots had just 2 penalties last week in the thrashing of Oakland. They've got 2 today, 3rd and 14. The time for Brady. He delivers to Brandon Cooks. Every single week, it's Brady to Cooks for a big play through the air. That one covers 38 yards.
Well, Brady took an extra deep drop to get away from the pass rush, and they gave him great time. And again, it's a crossing route that the Dolphins have lost a wide receiver. First it was Dorsett. This time it's number 14, bottom of the screen. A deep in route, and again, a drop coverage by the young secondary of the Dolphins.
Cooks had a 64-yard touchdown last week. Burkhead with a head of steam. Puts it to the outside. Burkhead still going. Burkhead to the 1. Fantastic effort from Burkhead.
This is Burkhead's longest run of the year for the Patriots. Good block there, out in front, Solder. But look at the effort here. Spinning, breaking tackles, using power, and eyeing that goal line and coming up just short after 22 yards.
1st and goal for New England. Devlin in front of Burkhead.
44.
Give it to Burkhead. Powers in.
They're saying he's short.
The call made from the far sideline, and he did not get there.
That's the exact same play they ran earlier for the touchdown. Right behind the left side, Solder there. Devlin leading the way.
Oh, he got turned right at the last moment.
Yeah, Kiko Alonso with a great job.
Oh, shit.
2nd and goal. Burkhead motions out of the backfield. Brady floats it up. Caught by Burkhead. Touchdown, New England. He's got 1 on the ground and 1 through the air.
Yeah, and Brady finding the mismatch he wanted. Burkhead on the rookie linebacker, Chase Allen. Watch this route here. A little jab step to the inside, and Allen is lost. Adjustment to the ball. Another touchdown for the Patriots.
Burkhead just took the youngster to school.
That's what they do. They find what they want, get pass protection for number 12, and of course he's going to deliver.
Extra point from Gostkowski. A delay here as they're confirming the touchdown. Currently 20-7 New England. And for the second time, Burkhead has had to wait to make sure he's allowed to celebrate. 7 different receivers for Josh McDaniels so far in this first half.
Yeah, 12 out of 16 for Brady for 160. I'm not sure why we're having such a long review of this. Pretty clear that Burkhead makes the catch and falls into the end zone by about a yard.
Well, that's 11 seconds we'll never get back.
Yeah.
And the extra point is good for Gostkowski. The Patriots answer and take a 21-7 lead over the Dolphins. So far this week, Rex Burkhead has been the featured guy. A couple of touchdowns through the first 6 games of the season for Burkhead. He's already got 2 today. And now New England will kick it off. 8:29 to play in this first half. Jakeem Grant is the featured return man, with Sonoris Perry also back there for Miami. Ball came off the tee. Gostkowski will reset it. These two teams are going to play again 2 weeks from now. Just the way that the schedule is worked out, New England will be in Buffalo next week. And then they've got the game in Miami, Monday Night Football. Pats will have to hold it because of the win. McCourty, extra duty.
He's thinking one thing, McCourty is.
Don't kick my finger. Gostkowski, this one returnable inside the 5 for Grant. Grant works the sideline and he's out of bounds.
Go back to the touchdown catch for Rex Burkhead, his 3rd of the season. Here he is right here. Once he goes up to the line of scrimmage, then Chase Allen has got him man for man. And Chase is a good name for Chase Allen because after that move, that's all he can do.
Miami has been held to 45 yards of offense. Their points were scored by the defense. Jones on the fumble recovery for the touchdown. First down from the 25. Running play to Drake. Not much there. Drake leans forward for 2. Landon Roberts over there defensively for New England. 2nd and long for Miami. We're down to 8:12 to go in this first half. Dolphins are 31st in the NFL in scoring, 15.7 points per game. Dan, they have had one lead at halftime this season. They led Tennessee 10-3. That's it. 2nd and 8 for the Dolphins. Moore is 4 out of 6 for 24 yards. Out of the gun. Moore. Nice grab. Jarvis Landry. Right at the marker for Landry. A lot of catches this season. The average is the lowest of his career. Landry comes in averaging 8.5 yards per catch.
Well, this is a great catch. Stops it with his right hand. Then with Jones coming right up over the top, is able to haul it in and pick up the first down.
We asked him about the chess match that you play when you go against New England and Belichick. He said, I don't like it. He thinks that teams overanalyze it, overthink it, and they're hurt by it. Just go out and do what you do. Give it to Drake. Bounce it to the outside, and Drake is dragged down by Jones. Miami in a 21-7 hole with 6:52 to go in this second quarter. That's a 4-yard gain for Drake.
Important for Miami to take time off the clock here at the end of this second quarter by getting a good drive and picking up some positive vibes as they head in for the halftime.
Well, look, if you get a touchdown here and if you use up clock, Miami will have the ball to start the third quarter. But that requires you to actually go out and execute against this New England defense. Rush coming. Moore gets rid of it. Coming back for it. Landry. The catch and curl upfield, and he's in New England territory down at the 46. 15-yard catch and run. Eventually brought down by Trevor Riley and Malcolm Butler.
Really an athletic move by Moore to get away from the blitz of Van Noy. And then a little spin there by Landry as he had to come way back for the reception. Butler always looking to knock the ball out as he does there. And it's a wrestling match that Landry wins.
We asked Landry about Butler. He said he competes at a high level. I respect him. When I think of New England's defense, I think of him. Williams stop and go. And he stopped after the go. 2 yards. Play whistle dead as Dietrich Wise Jr., the rookie from Arkansas, was in on the stop.
Yeah, both Damian Williams and Kenyon Drake have that big play ability, and both of them have touchdown runs this year of the long variety. 69 yards for Williams and 66 yards for Drake.
Miami has just one rushing touchdown on the season. That's the fewest in the NFL. It's the fewest for the Dolphins in their first 10 games in any season in franchise history. Oh, flea flicker. Moore. Deep ball. Looking for it all. And a flag down. Kenny Stills. The ball actually bounced off his foot. Stills makes a first down motion and expecting the penalty as he was underthrown. Malcolm Butler back there.
You wonder if the wind had anything to do with this ball
Pass
being
interference.
underthrown.
Defense number 21. The ball will be placed at the spot of the foul. Automatic first down.
Stills was behind Butler. Butler with catch-up speed here, but there's the interference clearly. How about Stills? After he hits his foot, watch his eyes. He's trying to locate that ball. He spins his head around.
Kenny Stills last week, 7 catches, 180 yards, and a 61-yard touchdown. 34-yard penalty sets up Miami at the 10. Flip it to Landry. Landry tried to make a cut, and he's buried by Van Noy. So New England, and in particular Van Noy, not fooled on the play.
It'll go down as a forward pass as Moore just shuffled it forward, but I give Van Noy a lot of credit for setting the edge. And then after he did that, making a tackle on an elusive ball carrier, Landry.
Second and goal for the Dolphins. Julius Thomas goes in motion, sets up. Moore looks to the outside, and it's too high for Damian Williams. It carried on Moore, and it brings up third and goal.
Well, when Moore misses, he misses high because he kind of drops his elbow. And that time he missed a wide open Williams. It would have been a huge play on second down. Might have even gotten all the way to the end zone.
Matt Moore getting the start for the injured Jay Cutler in the concussion protocol. Third and goal for Miami. Three receivers for the Dolphins. Moore spins out of trouble and throws it away, not taking any chances. The pressure from the rookie Adam Butler, and frustration for Adam Gase. Field goal unit coming on.
Yeah, Butler coming from the nose tackle position, showing great speed there to chase Moore out of the pocket and force that throwaway.
So once again, the New England defense holds, living up to the numbers, the fact that they'll give up yards, but they're not giving up points.
And that's one thing that Moore stressed to us yesterday. We can't be settling for field goals when we get in the red zone.
They settle. Curled through on a 28-yard kick by Parkey. 21-10, New England in front. They get the ball with 4:06 to go, first half.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Taco Bell's Rolled Chicken Tacos. Honda. Hurry into the Happy Honda Days sales event today. And by Verizon. Best gifts on the best network.
Last win for the Dolphins here in Foxborough. Have to go back September of 2008. Ronnie Brown, he was Mr. Everything for Miami. 113 yards, 4 touchdowns. He even threw for a touchdown. Tony Sperano's first win as a head coach, 38-13. Tony Parkey will kick it off. Dion Lewis is deep. This ball rolls, and Lewis, I think, had a idea of maybe running this one, but it rolls to the end zone. It's coming out to the 25-yard line.
Yeah, similar to earlier in the season, Brady was absorbing a lot of big hits. He has today, too. That one from Ndamukong Suh. Cameron Wake takes him out there. This last one by the rookie Harris. No sacks by the Dolphins, but a lot of big hits on number 12.
Brady is 12 of 16, 160 yards, 2 touchdowns. 1 to Burkhead and 1 to Gronkowski. Just over 4 minutes on the clock. 21-10 New England. Motion man Amendola. Brady hits Gronkowski, and he gets hit by Alonso from behind. It's a first down across the 45. 21 yards to the tight end.
Well, Gronkowski's going to fake a block there on T.J. McDonald because Amendola was in motion behind him like they were going to throw him the slip screen. Good read by Brady and good move by Gronk to get open and bring the ball out to midfield.
7 plays of 20 or more yards for New England. Miami, 0. Burkhead in the backfield on a first down at the 46. Take the running play. Rush is coming. Brady releases off the hands of Cooks. It's incomplete. Alonso was firing through on a blitz.
And Tom Brady looking at our official, Ron Torbert, saying, hey, where was the flag? Well, just off the hands of Cooks, but there's the shot, and it's could have definitely drawn a flag. Tom thinks so.
Patriots have owned this division since 2001. They're 75-22 within the AFC East. That's a 77% clip. Dump off. Dwayne Allen involved in the offense, and Allen is chopped down by Jones. Rashad Jones, the Pro Bowler in 2015, limits Allen to a 2-yard pickup. No Martellus Bennett. Bennett is inactive, shoulder and hamstring issues, and Hogan continues to sit. Chris Hogan out with a shoulder injury.
That's now 8 different receivers for Brady. Defensively, what a nightmare trying to figure out where is he going to hit us next.
Can Miami get a stop on a 3rd and 8? White shifts to the backfield. We're down to 2:38 remaining in the first half. Brady steps up, clean pocket. Brady intercepted. Brady had it picked off. Bobby McCain with his 2nd INT of the season. And Miami takes over with 2.5 to go in the second quarter. 2nd turnover for New England. The interception is under review. The question, did McCain control it throughout the pick?
Now, watch Amendola's left hand try to peel the ball away from McCain as he rolls over.
Following the review, the ruling on the field stands. Miami's ball, 1st and 10.
It acts as a punt. It was 3rd down, so if it was incomplete, Patriots would have punted it. Maybe Miami would have had worse field position, but the Dolphins take over at the 35-yard line.
You just wonder about the pressure on Brady. He's taken 4 big hits now. And that time he stepped up in the pocket and took another one from the rookie, Davin Godchaux.
His 3rd interception of the season. That was 188 straight passes without a pick. Handoff to Drake. Breaks the tackle, and Drake cuts it to the outside. A stiff arm on Van Noy. And Miami with a 12-yard run and a first down with 2:24 on the clock.
Yeah, it's a draw play to Drake, and he's going to take it all the way to the outside. Breaks a tackle at the line of scrimmage. In fact, breaks 2. David Harris goes down. And then Van Noy can't bring him down on the sidelines, but that's power there by Kenyon Drake.
Miami has all 3 timeouts left. 2-minute warning is coming up. Give it to Drake. And Drake could not get the angle he was looking for as Patrick Chung was over there. We hit the 2-minute warning. It's 21-10, New England.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Tostitos. Tostitos gives back to Salvation Army. And by the Home Depot. More saving, more doing.
Coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, Coach Cowher. Latest NFL scores and highlights all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Miami has to be careful here with the clock as well. They do have all 3 timeouts left, but so does New England with 1:57 to play. Trying to avoid the Patriots getting the ball with enough time. Moore throws. Makes the connection with Landry into New England territory, and a first down across the 40. Covered by Jonathan Jones. 14 yards on the pass play.
Yeah, really good pass protection for Moore as he waited for Landry to come all the way across the field in front of Jones here. And now the Dolphins getting close to field goal range for Cody Parkey. His longest this year, 54 in the first game of the season against the Chargers.
5 catches, 45 yards for Landry. 39-yard line in New England territory. It's a running play and a hole for Williams. Spin move by Damian Williams, and he's dropped by Jones and McCourty, short of the first down. 1:06 and counting left in this first half.
Now that 9-yard run was good enough to get Parkey in range now, although he would be kicking into a pretty stiff breeze.
2nd and 1 for the Dolphins. Drake has 21 yards on the ground. So does Williams. On 2nd and short, it's a running play. It's a first down for Williams. He's stacked up after the gain of 4 at the 25 and a timeout taken. Eric Lee, who has just signed by New England, makes the stop. We'll come back in 30 seconds after this from Garmin. Patriots holding on to a 21-10 lead over Miami. 38 seconds to go in this first half. Dolphins have 2 timeouts remaining. And a first down at the New England 25. Moore operating out of the gun. Moore in trouble. Moore is slammed down by Flowers. Moore absorbs the sack. With 33 seconds left, it's a loss of 5.
A lot of confusion before this ball was snapped by the offensive line, and Moore trying to find a escape route out of the pocket. Flowers picks up his 5th sack of the season.
Jawan James is on IR, done for the year with a left hamstring injury, so Sam Young has stepped in at that spot with Jesse Davis shifting over to right guard because of the injury to Bushrod. 2nd and 15 now for Miami. The Dolphins have already matched last year's loss total. They are 4-6. They made the playoffs last year with a record of 10-6.
Now the Patriots will be looking for Jarvis Landry. He's been the favorite target for both Moore and Jay Cutler this season.
They can't afford to lose any more yards or they'll bring themselves out of field goal range. Play clock was down to 1. Moore with a deep drop. Moore caught by Landry. And Landry torpedoes to the 15, leaning in on Jones and McCourty. Working quickly here. 21 seconds left. 15-yard gain. And a spike from Moore to stop the clock with 16 seconds left. Don't forget, coming up, Verizon Halftime Report. JB and the rest of the gang in New York. The latest scores and highlights from around the NFL. It's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Adam Gase, who is actually 8 months younger than Tom Brady, trying to make the right call here on a 2nd and 10 for Miami. Landry sets up in the slot. Matched up with Butler. On 2nd and down. Lofts it upstairs. Picked off. Stephon Gilmore for New England. A brutal blow for Miami. The intended target was Parker.
And it didn't look like Parker was even anticipating this ball. You can see the puzzled look on Matt Moore's face. But you can see that looking over his inside shoulder, ball underthrown by Moore, and Gilmore is there for the pick.
And Dan, last week, 2 interceptions for Miami on passes intended for Devontae Parker in that loss to Tampa Bay.
And it just didn't look like they were on the same page at all. Trying to take advantage of the 6'3" Parker.
So instead of at least a guaranteed 3, Miami comes up empty. The Dolphins will have the football to start the second half. They trail here in New England at the break, 21-10. The Patriots in front. Halftime is next after these first half highlights from Verizon and a word from your local station.
Snap.
Brady trying to get to it. Oh, it's scooped up by Jones. Brady from the gun. Throws it complete for a touchdown. The hands of Rob Gronkowski. Getting ready for second half action here in Foxborough. The Patriots lead the Dolphins 21-10 as we take a look at the gain of the first half. And it's Brady to Burkhead.
Yeah, they found the mismatch they wanted. Burkhead on the rookie middle linebacker, Chase Allen. And Burkhead in twice in the first half for touchdowns.
Ian Eagle along with Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn down on the sidelines. It's a 6-game winning streak for New England, a 4-game losing streak for Miami. For the Dolphins, frustration. Looked like they were going to have guaranteed points at the end of that second quarter, at least a field goal try. Moore is intercepted in the end zone by Gilmore. Similar circumstance, the Raiders last week turned it over late in the first half, so New England took advantage of that. They were up 14-0 in that game. If you're Miami, are you encouraged that you're hanging around right now against New England?
Yeah, you're doing some good things on offense. Getting the ball to Jarvis Landry is always a good idea. But they had to settle for a field goal when they were in the red zone, and that time, that just a killer interception, because they would have gotten the ball, as they will now, to start the second half. And with points at that point, with a field goal at least, would have been a one-score game.
Gostkowski kicks it off. Jakeem Grant, he got bunched up with his teammate, and Grant gets hemmed in. Actually turned that into a solid return as he is spun down short of the 25. We've got injured players, though, back at the 10-yard line right now, and concern on both sides.
Now, Trevor Riley and Sonoris Perry. Perry is the one that got in the way of Grant, trying to keep him in the end zone, but that huge collision right there.
So Chung with the play as he slammed down Grant. Yeah, Perry took a major shot, collision with Riley. Riley looked like he was knocked out. Semicircle formed around the two players, and Riley is moving. He's now sitting up. Concern for Perry, who is still laid out. The Dolphins have bunched up in that area. Sonoris Perry, backup running back. Riley up on his feet. But Woozy.
Yeah, he needs help getting off the field, obviously.
Right now the concern is for Perry of Miami. Miami Sonoris Perry is up on his feet. He's being escorted to the locker room after that collision with Trevor Riley on special teams. Dolphins take over 1st and 10 at their own 24. Swing it out to Drake. And Kenyon Drake is out of bounds. Jonathan Jones over there defensively, 2-yard pickup. That's the hit.
Trevor Riley goes 240. Perry goes 210. Perry tried to keep Grant in the end zone. There's a violent collision.
So not only a potential hit on special teams for New England, but also on defense. Riley has been playing downs on defense for the Patriots at the linebacker position. 2nd and 8. Quick hitter. Catch made across the 30-yard line, hauled in by Julius Thomas. His first grab covers 7 yards. The numbers at halftime: 183 yards through the air, 282 total for New England, 126 for Miami. But those two uncharacteristic turnovers for the Patriots, they had just 5 coming into the game. Miami had the touchdown on the fumble recovery and score by Rashad Jones. Oh, there's a dope on the field.
Excuse me?
I'm sorry, there's an individual on the field.
An idiot.
I'm sorry, I used the wrong term. It should have been idiot. And he has now been gang tackled, and they're going to deal with him. And his day is done here inside the stadium. It will continue elsewhere.
Yeah, his night may be done as well.
It might be overnight. There's bread and water where he's going. 3rd and 1 for Miami. Landry goes in motion. Running play, trying to get the yard. Very close. Damian Williams. Boy, the initial look did not appear that he got it. Had to get across the 34. And they're going to spot the football just short of the 34 with Lee and Guy collaborating.
And Malcolm Brown is well in there, the 320-pound nose tackle.
And this is going to be decision time for Adam Gase. If it is short, and on the live look, it is.
The eagle eye look.
I wear glasses, so I wouldn't trust it completely.
So it's plural then.
Yeah. It is short.
Wow.
And it's 4th down.
You're tempted to go for it, but you've got to punt here at the 34-yard line.
And Moore is not heading over there quite yet. Now he is. 4th and inches. And Adam Gase is not going to take any chances. He sends young Matt Hawk onto the field to punt it to Danny Amendola. Amendola plants himself at the 16-yard line of New England. Hawk comes in averaging 45.3 yards per kick, a net of just under 41 per punt. Amendola moves forward. Oh, he loses the ball! It's a battle for it. Both players had it.
I'm not sure he was given a chance to make a catch of that kick. It appeared that he was contacted just before the ball got to him.
Initial indication was New England football.
And it is.
Miami quarreling. The ball's nowhere near that pile. Michael Thomas comes out of the pack with it. He's raising the ball. And Amendola trying to make his case that he wasn't given a chance to catch it. Special teams playing a role here. He had it. Akins, he took it away from him.
Heck of a play. Great timing by Akins.
The New England player had the ball on the ground by contact. Then it was taken away from him. It's New England's ball. First down.
So Akins lost it. And New England very fortunate that they came away with a football. Akins knocked it free, but he could not gather. And the Patriots will have it. First down at the 23-yard line. Dolphins nearly had a gift on special teams and would have had it deep in New England territory. 13-14 mark of the third quarter. Patriots 21, Dolphins 10. Brady on a give. Dion Lewis shot out of a cannon. Lewis hit as he crossed the 45. Tough running from Lewis. Finally brought down in the secondary after a 25-yard gain. Bobby McCain.
Well, Lewis is going to split the center and the guard here. Look at Karras get out on the linebacker, Alonso. That's getting to the second level, and then Lewis is having some fun.
5 carries, 66 yards for Dion Lewis. Also has a catch for 1 yard. Brady, knocked down.
Looked like Sue got that one.
It was sent back by Sue as we check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, let's start with an update on both Sonoris Perry and Trevor Riley. They're both in their respective locker rooms being evaluated. Sonoris Perry being evaluated for concussion, and for Riley, remember, they lost Ebner, so this hits their special teams hard. As for a conversation with Bill Belichick, I'll add to that after this play.
It's a 2nd and 10 for New England. Play fake. Brady, he tosses it away with a flag thrown. Late flag as Brady is pointing. Brady threw it out of bounds.
And the opposite side of the field is where the flag was thrown, maybe on Tankersley, holding Amendola.
3 penalties against Miami, 3 penalties against New England. It was 3 early ones for the Dolphins.
Personal foul, grasping the face mask. Defense number 25. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Automatic first down.
And that's the second-year corner, Xavier Howard, called on the face mask. Let's get more from Evan with his conversation.
Well, guys, just the main point from Belichick was that 2 turnovers are too many, and he feels like this is turning into a Jarvis Landry game. They have to adjust to that. Nothing in the blitz game or the rush surprised them in terms of protecting Brady, but that is a priority, obviously, in this second half.
And New England is set up after the penalty in Miami territory at the 37-yard line. Shotgun on a give. Dancing is Lewis across the 35 for 4.5. Brought down by Howard. Patriots come in number 16 in the NFL in rushing, so middle of the pack. Number 1 in passing, over 304 yards per game.
Lewis is averaging 11 yards a carry so far.
Brady continues to spread it around, getting everybody involved. They'll stick to the ground game. And Lewis takes a hard hit as TJ McDonald was helping out with Howard. Here's the pass distribution list for Brady.
That's 8 different receivers for Brady. 14 out of 21. That's why they're so hard to defend.
3rd and short for New England. It's a steady diet of Lewis, and he slices for a first down. Brought down to the 24 and flags multiple penalties.
And this is well after the whistle was blown after the gain by Lewis for the first down.
Andre Branch in on the hit. Demonstrative call from the umpire,
After the
Dan
play was
Farrell.
over, personal foul, unnecessary roughness. Defense, number 28. Throwing a punch. Number 28 is disqualified from the game.
Wow. Bobby McCain has been tossed.
Now that's what Farrell was saying to our referee, Ron Torbert. He's gone, he was saying. He's out of the game.
Is that a punch?
Look, more like a whiff.
A forearm shiver. Now it's over here. 28 is on top of Amendola.
Yep, that's definitely a punch. He went right across the face mask of Amendola.
And that's it. Bobby McCain, an important part of this Miami defense in the nickel. Scrappy. Can play inside, outside. He's been disqualified here in the 3rd quarter.
And another disciplinary issue with the Dolphins. That's just losing your cool there. And now you put your team backed up again, the Patriots in the red zone where they appear to be unstoppable.
They thrive. First down at the 12. Running play. Lewis is brought down by Sue. And Ndamukong Suh.
Lewis is saying he grabbed my face mask. That's how he brought me down with one hand.
He got clubbed by Suh.
Watch Sue's right hand here.
Yep.
Or left hand. He reached across and grabs the face mask.
And no call.
Look at that.
Obvious one.
How do you miss that?
Well, the fan just saw it. Loss of 3.
You can see a punch in the bottom of a pile, but you can't see out the wide open a face mask ball.
2nd and long. Brady finds the open man. Rob Gronkowski. Tom Brady with a strike. And the Patriots build on their lead. Gronk with the spike.
Now he's going to bobble this one. Let's see if his feet get down after he maintains possession.
The pitter-patter.
Those are big pitter-patters, too. Those may just be patter-patters.
He did it.
Yep. Brady's going to absorb another hit. Cameron Wake this time drives him all the way to the ground.
Extra point from Gostkowski. It was a near turnover on the punt return by Amendola. Patriots hold onto the ball and they march it down the field. A couple of costly penalties for the Miami Dolphins. 28-10. Gronk's second touchdown of the day.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Southwest Airlines. Low fares, no hidden fees. That's transparency. Garmin. Get a Garmin smartwatch and beat yesterday. And by Macy's.
I'd like to hear that conversation before they did this shot. You want us to wear what?
That's child abuse, isn't it?
A little bit.
They were thrilled, though.
Kickoff. Jakeem Grant is the deep man for Miami. And the Dolphins now down 28-10 here in the third quarter. 10:21 to play. Gronkowski, this one was close. You want to see the look of relief? Gronk. Whoa.
Nice.
Nice. Second game with 2 receiving touchdowns this season. Did it against the Jets 6 weeks ago. Matt Moore and the Dolphins in an 18-point hole. Still plenty of time. Moore to throw it. Slings it to the outside, and Williams, who's hit immediately after the catch by Patrick Chung. It's a 3-yard pickup. We asked Chung about the experience in Mexico. He loved it. He said the ambiance was great. The fans were really into it. He was a little surprised. Didn't expect it to be that raucous.
Yeah, it's a very loud stadium. Most soccer stadiums are, and the Mexican fans, a lot of them decked out in Patriot gear, really supported that game very well.
Bill Belichick said the trip was beneficial. 10 days. They spent a lot of time together. They made the most of the opportunity of being away. Play clock is down to 1. Moore on a 2nd and 7. Running play to Williams. Finds an opening, and Williams has a first down. Just across the 40-yard line, David Harris with a hit. And injured Dolphin is Williams.
And he's pointing to his left shoulder there. That was a good audible by Matt Moore to get the ball to Williams off the right side. But again, this could be a very costly injury, especially when you consider Sonoris Perry in the locker room.
Art.
Watch his left arm here, trying to break his fall. And his weight comes right down on the shoulder.
Remember, the Dolphins traded away Jay Ajayi to the Philadelphia Eagles. They thought they would be more dynamic with the combination of Williams and Drake. Right now, they're down to just Drake. Sonoris Perry suffered an injury at the start of this second half on special teams. And the Dolphins have it 1st and 10, just short of the 41. Moore is 12 of 18. Landry. Now right now it's all Landry. That's a 9-yard grab, 7 catches, 69 yards. Moore, 7 of the 13 completions have gone to Landry.
No, he does such good work in the slot. His quickness and reliability is what Moore has got to count on now, as again he'll go to the slot at the top of the screen.
2nd and 1. High snap. Handed to Drake. Drake loses the ball. Patriots have it. Patrick Chung on the recovery. Kenyon Drake coughs it up.
That's Drake's second fumble he's lost this season. Like Trey Flowers is going to get in on one. He's going to punch it out with his left hand. And here are the legs of Patrick Chung. Watch him go diving in after this one. His second fumble recovery of the season.
So the one healthy running back has turned it over for Miami, and New England takes over at the 45-yard line of the Dolphins. 28-10, Patriots. Brady out of the gun. It's Burkhead. Burkhead driven down after the 3-yard pickup.
You know, the Patriots would like to be able to keep it on the ground and just grind this one out, but you know, with Josh McDaniels and Tom Brady, they're going to continue to take what's available to them, given by the Dolphin defense.
2nd and 7. Brady drifting in traffic. The catch made by Burkhead. And they're going to mark him down at the 40-yard line, so a modest gain on 2nd down. NFL Today update. JB, Nate Burleson.
Tennessee within 3 of Indy.
There's Marcus Mariota dropping off a dime to Delaney Walker. Delaney gets in the end zone and performs a little CPR trying to bring this offense back to life. Indy, though, with the lead, 16-13.
All right, back to Iron Eagle.
Big game for Tennessee. Things getting tight in the AFC standings. And the Titans already looking up at Jacksonville in the AFC South. A jump by Wake. That would be a first down.
Defense, number 91. That 5-yard penalty results in a first down.
It seems like every time the Dolphins are called for a penalty, it results in a first down for the Patriots. 6 penalties now for 52 yards against Miami.
You know, we mentioned that Miami is second to Seattle in overall penalties. They're number 1 in the NFL in a category that you don't want to be number 1 in, pre-snap penalties.
And that was a pre-snap penalty. Second one at the game against the Dolphins.
First down for New England. Gronkowski in motion. Shotgun for Brady. Give us to Burkhead. Miami ready for him. Jordan Phillips, all 333 pounds of him, is a loss of 1 on the play for Burkhead.
You kind of feel the energy has gone out of this stadium with this big lead, and Brady taking his time in the huddle at the line of scrimmage, bleeding the clock as much as possible.
Miami has now allowed 27 points or more in 6 straight games. The first 5 games of the season, they allowed less than 20 points in all of them. 2nd and 11 for New England. Ground game, Burkhead. Bangs inside across the 30-yard line. Hit by Kiko Alonso on the play, and it brings up 3rd down for the Patriots. We're down to 5:53 to play in the 3rd quarter. 3rd and 4 for New England. Already up 28-10. And a flag down. Gronk may have jumped.
False start. Offense, number 87. 5-yard penalty. 3rd down.
Gives you the indication that maybe Gronk was a primary receiver on that play.
You think?
Trying to get a head start maybe, but definitely a lack of concentration.
So now a 3rd and 9 for the Pats.
44, you're locked, Gronk.
Brady operating out of the gun. Brady pulled the trigger. Incomplete. He tried to lead Amendola with 2 defenders in the vicinity. And the New England drive stalls.
Yeah, good drop that time by Stephon Anthony, number 44, as he fakes the blitz. And he comes right back and causes that incompletion. I'm not sure that Brady saw him. He was more concerned with getting the ball to Amendola.
There was a question whether or not they would go for it. You're looking at either a 52, 53-yard field goal. You go for it on 4th and 9, or you punt it
Well, with that design is it keeps the defense on the field, so they're very difficult to have an organized return here for Landry.
The play clock reset. The Dolphins are upset. Play clock had hit 0. This is taking forever. 20 seconds. They're just going to stand there. 15 seconds.
There's really no reason to bleed this clock. The game clock at 5:13 ain't moving.
Well, unless they want to create a little extra space for Ryan Allen, that's fine. Or try to get Miami to jump.
Well, this is going to be a delay of game penalty. And then Ryan Allen fakes a pass.
Darren Rizzi, the special teams coach for Miami, was losing it along the sideline. It's almost 2 delays of game.
It was definitely the longest single one.
We looked at the play clock. It was rolling down, and then it just reset. And that's what Miami was jumping around for.
Delay of game by the offense. 5-yard penalty. It's still 4th down.
That ought to be delay of game against the officials.
That would actually count in some category. .5:13 to go here in the third. Landry, the return man, standing at the 10-yard line. It gives Allen a little bit more space to work with. Cardona will snap it. And again, taking their time. Allen trying to place it. Rolls into the end zone. It's coming out to the 20-yard line after all that. 39-yard punt, a net of 19. Patriots comfortably in front here in the third.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by State Farm. Here to help life go right. And by Verizon. Best gifts on the best network.
All right, back here at Foxborough, where the Miami Dolphins have it. First down at their own 20-yard line. They trail 28-10. Kenyon Drake is healthy, and he's in the backfield for Miami. They've lost Williams. They've lost Perry. Moore brought down by Roberts. Whistle down there. Landon Roberts makes the play with a sack on Matt Moore. Let's go back to that clock issue.
Do we have time?
Not really.
You see that?
So there's the play clock. It goes to 0. Now watch the reaction bottom of your screen from Miami. It's over, but it's not. It's just beginning. Play clock got reset to 40, and that's what drew the ire of Darren Rizzi, the assistant head coach and special teams coach for Miami. Second and long for the Dolphins. The rush. Moore is sacked again. Trey Flowers firing through. And Flowers may be injured on the play.
Flowers has had a great day putting pressure on Matt Moore. Flowers on the, that's a pair of Flowers there.
Yep.
Marquise as well.
And it is Marquise Flowers that is down on the ground. 2 Flowers for the price of 1. Moore was dealing with a bouquet.
Okay, any more?
That's all I got.
Unfortunately for the Dolphins, Patriots are those sharks right now with blood in the water.
It's the right leg of Marquise Flowers, backup linebacker. And we mentioned Trey Flowers was also involved for New England. .403 to go in the third. While the New England Patriots didn't come in with a lot of sacks, the scouting report is they get pressure. and it affects the quarterback. Marquise Flowers limping noticeably as he makes his way off the field, and now Trey Flowers is up on his feet and jogging off for New England. Bill Belichick checks on him. Yeah, Flowers appears to be okay. Sacks on back-to-back plays. Third and 24. They'll go conservative with Kenyon Drake. Hit at the 10 by Eric Lee. We check in with Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, this is turning into an injury-plagued second half. Let's update you on what we know right now. Sonoris Perry and Damian Williams both out. Williams with that left shoulder injury. Perry with the concussion. As for the Patriots, Trevor Riley doubtful with the head injury. I'll update you on the pair of Flowers when I can.
Now, this is a Patriots team that obviously lost Julian Edelman. IR torn ACL. They lost Dante Hightower, torn pectoral muscle. Hawk with the punt. Fair catch. Not taking any chances. Danny Amendola. But New England will have it in Miami territory after the 37-yard kick. Send it to New York. JB and Nate.
14 unanswered by the Jets.
That's right, JB. The hardest thing to stop is a receiver running two routes. Josh McCown scrambles to the right. He tells Robbie Anderson, go deep, which he does, and they connect on a 54-yard bomb. They're scoring points in bunches, and Robbie Anderson takes a nap and tells everybody to stop sleeping on the Jets. They're up 17-12.
Late in the third, back to Ian Eagle.
And guys, still in the hunt at 4-6. If the Jets get a win, they'll improve to 5-6, and they would be in the playoff race in the AFC. Kiko Alonso spins down Lewis on the play, and we're down to 3 minutes to go in this third quarter.
Now, Matt Burke, defensive coordinator for the Dolphins, knows the defense has to come up with some type of turnover, so he brings Alonso on a blitz right up the middle and almost got to Lewis at the handoff point.
10 carries, 73 yards rushing for Dion Lewis. 340 total yards of offense. Brady fakes it one way, goes to the other side of Lewis. He hurdles, and a flag thrown. He crosses the 45-yard line. The flag is down to the 48.
And it's going to be pass interference against the Patriots. You can see both teams losing a little bit of their edge here with concentration.
Offense, number 14, 10-yard penalty. Replay second down.
It's Brandon Cooks.
He actually could have got Cooks for a pair of infractions as he had an illegal block in the back as well as the pass interference.
Six penalties, costing them 64 yards. Miami's been called for 6 for 52.
The offense. Pass interference. Offense number 14. That penalty is accepted 10 yards from the previous spot. Illegal block in the back. Offense number 14. That penalty is declined. Replay second down.
Way to sniff it out, Dad.
The power of instant replay. There's the pass interference. There's the illegal block. Okay, let's get on with it. And pick up the pace, huh?
So you're saying that was unnecessary?
Yeah, I think the officials have lost their edge as well. They've certainly missed a few calls today.
Second and 24, back at the 40-yard line of New England. Brady from the gun.
47. Round 19. Round 10.
A little jump by Harris. He got back onside, and Brady on time. Brandon Cooks. 22 yards as the ball floats to Cooks.
It takes so long to get this ball off, so the protection was fantastic for Cooks. And Brady with the timing, letting it go early so that Cooks can make this catch. That another big shot. Brady shaking off his hand as a little contact there.
It turns into a 3rd and 2 for New England. James White. A rare carry for White. First down, they'll move the chains across the 35-yard line. He picks up 3 with 1:18 to go in the 3rd quarter. Patriots have held Miami to 10 points. They've held their opponents to 17 or less in 6 straight games. They've never won 3 straight games by 25 points or more. Brady steps up, and it's at the feet of James White, incomplete. Wake was in the area as Brady is on his backside once again.
Yeah, then you start thinking about, well, maybe we should get Tom out of there and bring in Brian Hoyer. I know it's still early in the game, but the number of hits he has taken throughout this game.
This has never been their M.O.
Now, Tom probably wouldn't allow it.
Similar to Peyton Manning. Manning, he didn't want to leave games. He didn't want to give up reps in practice. Give it to White. Running lane for White. And he takes it to the 26. Injured Dolphin on the play. And that's Rashad Jones, who's helped up.
Jones responsible for the only touchdown today by the Dolphins on a fumble recovery after a bad snap.
And Jones will head to the sideline.
Yeah, I don't think Brady has to worry about a Wally Pipp type of situation here, do you?
I do not. But Brian Hoyer does not appear to be on the brink of checking into the game.
Yeah, maybe he ought to take off the big coat and start windmilling his arm a little bit. Hey, coach, I'm ready to put me in.
3rd and 2 for New England. James White. He was trying to get to the 24-yard line, hit by Lawrence Timmons, needed 2, picked up 1, and it's 4th down.
That's the power that Lawrence Timmons brings to this Miami Dolphins defense. 11-year veteran, came over from Pittsburgh and gives this team a little bit of attitude with that type of tackling.
End of 3, 28-10. Patriots back to Foxborough after this. And a word from your local station, the NFL on CBS. Start of the 4th quarter here in Foxborough. New England 28, Miami 10. Patriots riding a 6-game winning streak. They started the season 2-2, hoping to improve to 9-2. Miami 4-6, 4 straight losses to Baltimore, Oakland, Carolina, and Tampa Bay. Patriots are going for it on a 4th and 1. They're not going to get it. Burkhead driven backwards, and Miami will take over on downs. First play of the 4th quarter. It's blown up by Branch and Gottschall.
Yeah, he tried to bounce it to the outside here. You can see Karras getting pushed back right in the middle of that offensive line.
Lawrence Timmons also in there for Miami.
A little bit of confusion there on the handoff. Brady expecting Burkhead perhaps on the other side of him for that handoff.
Shotgun for Moore on a 1st down for Miami. Early 4th quarter, play clock down to 2. They handle the rush. Landry with a catch. And he's brought down by Jonathan Jones, gain of 1. NFL Today update. We sent it to New York. Nate Burleson.
And here's Cam Newton. Here's the difficult thing about stopping him. You got McCaffrey. Jonathan Stewart gets in for the 2-yard touchdown. The 2-point conversion was no good as Jonathan Stewart putts a little bit right there. 18-17, Panthers. Ian Eagle, back to you.
So Carolina, Nate, in rally mode. Interaction at 7-3, trying to keep pace with New Orleans in the NFC South. 2nd and 9 for Miami. Moore on a line. It's complete. Kenny Stills, who has not been a big part of this game plan, his first catch did have the long pass interference call that benefited Miami earlier.
Well, it's so difficult when you're trailing a team like the Patriots have led most of their opponents this season. They'll just drop back, give you that 10-yarder, that 8-yarder, but they're going to be either in a two-deep shell or a free safety deep. They're not going to allow anything that could change the momentum in this game deep down the field.
Matt Patricia has seen improvement over the last 6 weeks from this defensive unit. 3rd and 2 for Moore. Incomplete, trying to get it to Kenny Stills. And it's 4th down, so after taking over on downs, Miami can't do anything with it. They go 3 and out.
Yeah, no, they're going to go for it. Briggs keeping the offense on the field, trailing by 18.
So 4th and 2 for Miami.
They converted one earlier on 4th down, but this has not been a strength of this Miami offense all year. 4th down conversions.
Motion man is Landry, sets up in the slot. On a 4th and 2, is Moore going to have enough time? 1 second. They have to use a timeout. They're first. And that tells the whole story from Adam Gase. Start your week off with a night of comedy, beginning with new episodes of Kevin Can Wait, Man with a Plan, Superior Donuts, and 9JKL. That starts tomorrow at 8, 7 Central, only CBS.
You know, in your short yardage situation, you can't be up there changing the play or looking for the perfect play. Have the confidence that you can execute the play called in the huddle. You don't want to burn a timeout in the 4th quarter at this stage of the game.
Matt Moore got a full week of practice. Felt as if it was progressing each day. The last time he started was on a short week, which was basically a walkthrough week. They got blown out by Baltimore on a Thursday night. This is a 4th and 2. Dolphins desperately need it. Moore, deep shot. It's complete to Kenny Stills.
What a tremendous job to get his feet down. That'd be wise to get to the line of scrimmage before a challenge can come out from the Patriots as to whether Stills got his feet down in time or not. Left foot good. Oh, beautiful drag with the right toe.
A 28-yard rainbow from Matt Moore.
Definitely his best pass of the day.
Line of scrimmage is the 37-yard line of New England. Second catch for Stills. Landry has 8 for 70 yards. Moore throws. Ball got knocked away. Incomplete. Kenny Stills. Malcolm Butler is scrappy.
Well, he's so good at knocking the ball out. Watch Stills on the in route here. Watch the right hand come down there, right on the ball. And about 10 years ago, that would have been a catch and a fumble, but nowadays it's tough to tell what a completion is and what an incompletion is.
Second and 10 for Miami. Trailing 28-10 here in the 4th quarter. Moore with a deep drop. Sets. Throws. Hauled in by Julius Thomas. Down at the 20, it covers 17 yards. We send it to Evan Washburn.
Well, guys, we saw Trey Flowers go down the previous possession for the Patriots. He was actually back out there earlier in this possession, but he came to the sideline, again pointing to his chest area. He's currently in the locker room being evaluated. Nothing official yet, but no Trey Flowers for the Patriots right now.
So it's Dietrich Wise who's stepping in for Flowers, the rookie out of Arkansas, who has seen a lot of reps this year for New England. Fake it. Moore on the move. Hooks up with Stills, and he accelerates out of bounds. 12:14 to go here in the 4th. Catch and run of 12 yards for Stills. Miami on the move.
Well, right across the formation, here comes Stills. Patriots just rushing 3, dropping 8. And allowing Moore on the run to get an easy completion and to keep the momentum going.
We are under 12 minutes to play now in the 4th. Miami has actually fared well when getting to the red zone. Moore floats it for Drake, turns it upfield, and Drake a walk-in touchdown. The Dolphins strike back.
You know, he had to turn around to make this catch on this floating pass and still was able to just walk into the end zone.
Kenyon Drake caps off an 8-play, 73-yard drive.
Really good concentration, too. I'm sure in his mind he said, when is that ball ever going to get to me? It's a floater for more, but it paid off.
Extra point from Cody Parkey. He knocks it through. It's 28-17 New England. 11:43 to go here in the fourth quarter as the Dolphins still within striking distance. Kenyon Drake, first receiving touchdown of his career. 8 plays, 73 yards, took 3 minutes and 12 seconds. Remember, New England could have attempted a field goal on fourth down. Went for it on 4th and 1, got stopped. Miami goes for it on 4th down. They convert, and they cash in with a touchdown. Parkey will kick it off. Return man is Dion Lewis from the 1. Lewis is corralled at the 15-yard line by Allen on special teams. On Monday, Dolphins players and coaches helped distribute Thanksgiving meals to more than 500 local families, took some photos, signed some autographs as well. And on Tuesday, Patriots players participated in their annual Thanksgiving in a Basket event. They handed out full Thanksgiving meals to 220 different families in the area. Good stuff going on around the holidays for the Dolphins and the Patriots. 28-17 New England. Patriots with the football. First down, Brady. It's incomplete. Rob Gronkowski, the intended receiver, in a matchup with Rashad Jones.
And you know, Ian, you go back to that 4th down decision. At the 25-yard line, would have been about a 43-yard field goal. Obviously within Gostkowski's range and ability, would have made it a 21-point game. So what happens? As you said, Dolphins came right back.
2nd and 10 now for New England. They've been held to 91 yards in this second half. It's 373 overall for the Patriots. Number 2 in that category at over 410 per game. Hand off to Lewis. Just across the 20-yard line for Dion Lewis. 6-yard gain brings up 3rd and 4 for New England. And this is not an area where the Patriots can afford another injury. LaAdrian Waddle, who is in at right tackle for the injured Marcus Cannon. They're being tested. Cameron Fleming would be next up.
And Waddle was a little nicked up in Mexico City as well.
Waddle's up on his feet, but moving gingerly. The longtime offensive line coach, Dante Scarnecchia, down 2 starters. Patriots had a turnover with Ted Karras and Tom Brady on a shotgun snap, recovered by Jones for a touchdown. And it will be Fleming stepping in at right tackle. Waddle still trying to get to the sideline.
And all Fleming has facing him is Cameron Wake, who's had a solid game, has not gotten a sack on Brady, but has hit him a couple of times. So it'll be interesting to see how number 71 Cameron Fleming handles Cameron Wake.
Fleming saw a lot of time, at least more of it last year compared to this year when they would go to 6 offensive linemen. Big play here on a 3rd and 4 for New England. Amendola, the motion man. Brady mishandles it. Brady steps up, and Brady is sacked by Wake. Cameron Wake, 89.5 career sacks. It's a loss of 6 for the Pats.
That's a tough assignment for Cameron Fleming, coming cold off the bench. But Brady just inexplicably drops this good snap from his center, Ted Karras, and there's Wake for the sack on 3rd down.
Allen to punt it. It's a line drive. It's going to bounce and roll towards the sideline. Jakeem Grant didn't track it well early, and it's a 45-yard kick. Brady has taken a lot of hits today. New England is trying to hold on against Miami here in the fourth.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Gillette, the best a man can get. McDonald's, I'm loving it. And by FedEx, sign up for FedEx Delivery Manager.
The Hall at Patriot Place opened in September of 2008, renovated recently, a Super Bowl experience exhibit that takes visitors through each of the team's Super Bowl wins. Sack for Roberts. He tosses down Matt Moore on first down for Miami.
Now Matt Patricia's going to bring the blitz. Watch this blitz here. Totally free and no hesitation. Straight up the middle. Pouncey goes to the right. Ted Larson goes to the left. And Landon Roberts goes to the quarterback.
Fourth sack of the day for the New England defense. 2nd and 20 for Miami. 9:45 to play in the fourth. Patriots up by 11. Moore with a deep drop. Steps up, flag down. Moore. He's down again. The Patriots want more, and they get it from Kyle Van Noy.
Yeah, they're going to get Jesse Davis for holding on Van Noy and didn't do a very good job at that.
Five sacks. This is Van Noy, who's down for New England.
Holding. Offense, number 77. That penalty is declined. Result of the play is third down.
Here's Van Noy on the blitz. And it's a pretty good move there as he comes underneath the 6'6" Jesse Davis.
Yeah, they're checking on Kyle Van Noy, who's been such an integral part to this New England defense.
The start of this drive had been the Dolphins' best starting field position to start a drive. And in 2 plays, they have gone backwards.
Robert Kraft, owner, President Jonathan Kraft. Kraft family has owned the team since 1994. The injuries piling up here. You think about Van Noy, who was acquired from Detroit and just turned out to be a really good fit for New England. They signed him to a 2-year, $11.8 million deal. He was acquired for a 6th-round draft pick. You know, the other part, when news came down this week that they had released Cassius Marsh, you think to yourself, most teams around the NFL, if they go out and trade for a player, even if the player isn't performing up to par, they'll keep him because they don't want to admit a mistake. Yeah. New England has built up so much equity. Belichick has built up so much equity that he can release a player, even though they gave up 2 picks for him, if it's just not working out.
It's called the Patriot Way, and the Patriot Way is founded on Super Bowl victories.
Well, Van Noy is up. The success that this team has had under Robert Kraft. From Brookline, Massachusetts, to owner of the Patriots. 3rd and 28, Moore. He shoots it to the outside and Drake, and he'll come up well short of the first down. Marquise Flowers back in there for New England. Ranges over to make the play.
Well, the Dolphins went for it on 4th down on the previous drive. It looks like they're going to do it again. That was that 28-yard beautiful throw and catch by Kenny Stills that converted the last 4th down.
It's 4th and 11. There's still 9 minutes on the clock. You don't get it, and New England takes over in Miami territory. On 4th down, Moore steps up. Moore throws to a spot, and it's handled by Landry, but ruled incomplete. And Landry wants Miami to challenge it. Jonathan Jones over there defensively. Moore gets rid of it. Landry has the ball. The question is, it moving there?
Yep, it certainly is. Great call by the officials.
And he's not going to get the benefit of the doubt because the call on the field was incomplete.
Now the key here is Jones having his hand right in there between the hands of Landry.
Yeah, Miami's not going to challenge, which means New England takes over on the incomplete ball. Patriots 1st and 10 at the 38. Miami would not have won the challenge. Pitch it to Lewis. Good open field tackle by Rashad Jones as we check in with Evan.
Well, guys, Cam Fleming continues at right tackle. Adrian Waddle is in the locker room. It looked like his right foot and ankle was the area of concern. Nothing official from the Patriots of yet. Back to you.
And this depth being tested. There is one more healthy offensive lineman that's active, and it's Cole Croston. Dion Lewis.
You can see Lewis, every carry, when he senses contact is near, he covers up wisely. Even after that spin move, he was 3/4 of the way through it and got both hands on the ball.
Andre Branch was shaken up on the play, and Branch got himself up on his feet but can't make it all the way to the sideline. You know, with Lewis, it's that combination of power and balance. He's not tall, as we know. He's listed at 5'8", and he may not even be that. But he's strong. He packs a punch.
Yeah, he's not afraid to meet a tackler. Rarely does he meet a tackler head on, though, because of that ability to spin and evade.
Over the last 5 games, he's averaging over 26 snaps per game. Gillislee is a healthy scratch today. 3rd and 1. Lewis! The cutback by Lewis. And he's dumped inside the 5. Michael Thomas saves a touchdown, but the damage is done.
Now a good block that time by Nate Solder at the point of attack.
Patriots rush to the line. Lewis slammed down. Ran into a brick wall. And a loss on the play for Lewis as Devon Gacho continues to play at a high level. He's a bulldog on the inside. 2nd and goal for New England. We're down to 6:52 and counting remaining in the 4th quarter. Lewis 112 yards on the ground. Second and goal. James White in there. Flip it to Cooks. Cooks! He's got the speed and he's got the touchdown! Brandon Cooks.
They had a convoy going to the corner, too, but big Rob Gronkowski. Another touchdown pass, one of the shortest ones Brady will ever throw on the jet sweep.
So it goes down as a receiving touchdown for Cooks. The timing was perfect for New England. Brady, just leave it up there for Cooks and let him do the rest.
Speed gets right by Charles Harris. Harris right in the backfield. But 14 was a blur.
And Dan, you get the sense when we spoke with Cooks earlier this year, just watching him, he takes so much pride in the precision of his route running. Whatever it is he's asked to do, he's really fit in with the New England philosophy. He was with the Saints and played with a future Hall of Famer in Drew Brees. But this has been a really special connection for him and Brady.
Well, we talked about his speed. Well, it's so obvious, but it's his footwork, it's his quickness, and it's his desire to be great.
Extra point is good. And New England now takes a 35-17 lead with 6:31 to go in the fourth. Ride 'em, Cowboy. The Patriots looking to win their 7th in a row. In the red zone this season, Brady has 20 touchdowns, no picks, 4 for 4 today, and all 4 of his touchdowns have come inside the red zone. Kickoff goes through the back of the end zone. It's coming out to the 25. Coming up next, second half of our doubleheader features 2 teams atop their divisions. Drew Brees and the Saints battling the Rams. Or catch Denver at Oakland, AFC West showdown, or the AFC South leaders, Jacksonville, taking on Arizona, the NFL on CBS. So Miami with 6:31 on the clock, now trailing 35-17. Jay Cutler couldn't start today. Matt Moore does. He throws it to Julius Thomas, short of the first down. Tackle there by Patrick Chung. 8-yard pickup. So as mentioned, the points per game has gone down considerably since the first month of the season for this New England defense. It's that bend but don't break philosophy, and it's working for the Pats.
The safety's 15 yards deep. So it's so hard to get one behind them.
Moore spins into bigger trouble. Jonathan Jones, the sack. Could have thrown it initially. Instead, he takes the sack.
Well, he spins too soon. He sees Jones coming, and if he had waited a little bit longer, let Jones commit to the sack, but he tried to spin out of the pocket. Easy sack, his first of his career for Jonathan Jones.
And now it's 3rd and 17 for Miami. A loss of 15 yards for the Dolphins. New England in control, 35-17 Patriots, 5:14 to go in the fourth quarter. Patriots are 8-2. Dolphins trying to snap a 4-game losing streak at 4-6. Drop ball by Kenyon Drake, and it's 4th and long for Miami. Four touchdowns for Tom Brady today. New England continues to pile up the points. 4th in the NFL in scoring at 29 per game, and they add to that average here. Tom Brady gets a chance to put on the helmet again as Miami will punt it at the 5:05 mark. Matt Hawk. Amendola, fair catch called for at the 40. 42-yard kick. A little pushing after the play. No harm done. Adam Gase stoic in his conversation here with Matt Moore. So, Tom Brady and the New England offense, 4 minutes and 58 seconds. This is going to be win number 7 in a row for the Pats. And that big matchup with Pittsburgh is just 3 weeks away. Handoff to Burkhead. Going up the middle for 2. Divisional games in 5 of the last 6 weeks of the season for New England.
Kind of a quirky schedule, isn't it, for the AFC East?
Played just 1 game within the AFC East, and here we are in week 12. So they have Miami again in 2 weeks. They have Buffalo next week. They have the Bills again, and they still have another matchup with the Jets.
And Miami has the Bills 2 of the last 3 weeks.
Miami will be home for Denver next week and then home for New England. On a give to Burkhead. New England just trying to use up clock, get some first downs. It's a 5-yard gain for the Patriots. Total yards now at 418 on the day. That's above their season average of 410. And a 3rd and 3 for New England. Ian Eagle, Dan Fouts, Evan Washburn, the rest of our NFL on CBS crew here in Foxborough. The Patriots have a big lead on Miami, 35-17. 3:40 to play here in the fourth. On a 3rd and 3, pitching. Burkhead spun around, and Burkhead, the second effort. It's right at the line to gain for New England.
There's a couple times today we've seen Burkhead, after contact, just spin right out of it and lower his shoulder, and this is going to bring out the chains. What do you think, Eagle Eye, here? Maybe 3 inches shy?
Yeah, a little bit short.
And he's spinning out of the tackle of Ndamukong Suh here, who was going for really the knockout hit instead of trying to make a tackle.
Appears to be chest shy for New England. They extend it. Yep.
Well, they pulled that last kink out of that chain, didn't they?
They did. So it's 4th down. Line of scrimmage is just short of the 49. 35-17 lead for New England. 5 red zone trips, 5 touchdowns for the Patriots. Moore getting the start for the injured Jay Cutler, 194 yards, a touchdown, and an interception late in the second quarter. Tom Brady, another terrific day, 227 yards, 4 touchdowns, and just his 3rd pick of the year.
And he really didn't lose a fumble, okay? The ball was a bad snap on a shotgun snap from Ted Karras, and Brady is blamed and gets discredited there.
Yeah, this touched a nerve with you. This obviously happened to you in your career a number of times.
No, not really.
We can go back.
I feel sorry for Tom, though. So much negative publicity.
4th and inches. And New England initially left the offense out there. Now they'll bring out the punter, Ryan Allen.
That was really one of the key plays of the game. The first punt of the day. Nate Ebner takes a fake punt around the corner for a 1st down.
But got injured on the play, so we did not see Ebner again. They lost Trevor Riley as well. Injuries on Miami's side. Jakeem Grant, the return man. And a fair catch called for. Dolphins will get it after the 37-yard kick. So, as everything around the NFL seems to change, not with the Patriots. Their winning ways continue year in, year out. There's New England perched right at the top of the AFC playoff picture with Pittsburgh. Jacksonville at 7-3. Kansas City has hit a serious rough patch. Miami entering action at 4-6, but will drop to 4-7. And they were on the periphery. The Dolphins can't find a win. It's going to be 5 straight losses for Miami, and Jay Cutler hoping to be good to go for next week when they host Denver. First down for the Dolphins, 2:45 left. Moore to Thomas, who has padded his numbers but didn't have any important catches earlier. It's 4 grabs for 39 yards for the 2-time Pro Bowler Julius Thomas. 2nd and 2 for the Dolphins. 2:28 to go, 4th quarter. Moore devoured. Eric Lee making his Patriot debut. Practice squad with Houston and Buffalo. They were hoping that Lee could set the edge and maybe provide some heat on the QB. He does.
Yeah, really nice move there. Working with the rookie Adam Butler on a little twist.
7th sack of the day for the New England defense. It's all Patriots again. This will be 9 straight wins at home against the Miami Dolphins. 35-17. New England, 2 minutes to play.
The NFL on CBS is sponsored by Rocket Mortgage by Quicken Loans. Mortgage confidently. And by Progressive Insurance, handing off big savings to you.
Patriots have racked up 199 rushing yards here today, 420 overall, and they lead at 35-17. 2 minutes to go. Moore hits his man, Thomas, and he's angled out of bounds. It's a pickup of 12 and a first down for Miami. Matt Moore, 23 of 33, 215 yards, a touchdown and a pick.
He's been under pressure, though. 7 sacks by the Patriots. Many of them coming here in the second half of this fourth quarter.
Moore throws, deep ball looking for Parker, intercepted, and take your pick. It'll be Daron Harmon.
Well, Gilmore got one in the first half, so Harmon says, hey, that one's mine.
Harmon had a pick last week. Gilmore had it. Can you get a half an interception, like a sack?
That's what Gilmore's wondering. Definitely it was Gilmore's ball.
Gilmore was battling with Harmon. Simultaneous catch. Defense.
Now, Harmon's not giving the ball up. That's for sure. Until he gets to the sideline.
Some smiles along the New England sideline. And that'll do it with 1:43 to play. The New England Patriots, 7-game winning streak. Coming up next, second half of the doubleheader. You've got the Saints and the Rams in a big one. Denver takes on Oakland, and Jacksonville meets Arizona. We've got it for you next here on CBS.
And the Rams, who stepped up in class last week, going and facing a great Minnesota team. They've got Philadelphia on the schedule as well, so a real test for a surprise team in the NFL, especially today with Drew Brees.
Victory formation for New England.
Every quarterback's favorite formation.
And the final 55 seconds. Matt Moore getting a chance to start. Full week of reps for Moore. But going against this New England squad, Miami didn't have enough. Once again, mistakes, some self-inflicted. 35 points on the board for New England. Had 418 yards of offense. Brady takes a knee, and it's over. 7 wins in a row for the Patriots. They improved to 9-2 on the season. They have beaten the Dolphins 9 consecutive here at Gillette. 35-17 the final. The Patriots get it done. The Dolphins lose their 5th straight. New England now jumps in front of Pittsburgh. And the Dolphins fading fast at 4-7. Final score in Foxborough. Patriots 35, the Dolphins 17. Coming up next, game 2 of our doubleheader on CBS. Saints and Rams, Broncos Raiders, or Jaguars Cardinals. For the Hall of Famer Dan Fouts and Evan Washburn, Ian Eagle saying so long from Gillette. We'll take you back to New York for all of the scores and highlights on the NFL Today update right after this.